More bad news for NFTs, ladies and gentlemen, or as I like to call it, just plain old good news. So Seth Green had this situation where he fell for a phishing scam and had his Bored Ape NFT stolen, the one that he needed to create his NFT show. And scrolling down, you can find the details if you need a recap. On May 8th, an anonymous scammer swiped 4 of Green's NFT in a phishing scheme. Green mourned his stolen assets on Twitter, where he announced the losses of a Bored Ape, 2 mutant apes, and a doodle, which were transferred out of Green's wallet after he unknowingly interacted with a phishing site. And then the Bored Ape NFT, specifically the one for the show, was bought by this collector known as Darkwing84, who purchased it for more than $200,000. Seth Green came out with bravado saying, "I'll pursue this legally, or I'll try to contact this individual, but if we fail to negotiate, then I will take this to court." And the reason this is causing trouble for Seth Green, and the reason this is such a vital part of getting the show made, is that the way Bored Ape works is if you buy the NFT, you own the rights across the board. This is something that is highlighted on the official website in the terms and conditions. Ownership. You own the NFT. Each Bored Ape is an NFT on the Ethereum blockchain. When you purchase an NFT, you own the underlying Bored Ape, the art, completely. Ownership of the NFT is mediated entirely by the smart contract and the Ethereum network. At no point may we seize, freeze, or otherwise modify the ownership of any Bored Ape. Suffice to say that this put Seth Green in a precarious position. As the current owner, if they wanted to cause trouble for Seth Green, they probably could, because that person becomes the holder of the commercial usage rights. Now, Seth Green tried to argue that, well, the art was stolen, so there are legal ways we can pursue this, except the law does protect people who bought a stolen item without knowing that it was a hot item. So, yeah, legally speaking, Seth Green wasn't looking particularly great, and he agreed to the policy set forth by Bored Ape. Now, Seth Green insisted that taking this to court could set a precedent for debates when it comes to IP ownership and exploitation as far as NFTs are concerned. It's hilarious seeing the NFT community on one hand goes, we love how unregulated this wild, wild west landscape is, but the second that ends up biting them in the butt, suddenly they're all about, well, there are these regulations in place that I could use for restitution. It's just a very hypocritical and ironic environment. Outside of news outlets on social media, plenty of people poked fun at Seth Green for, first of all, engaging in an environment filled with crime, theft, schemes, scams, and just the ridiculousness of this whole situation was something people poked fun at, like with this meme, "You're laughing. Peep MILF Hunter 69 lost his $200K life savings on his booby butt 420 Farcoin investment, and you're laughing." Seth Green didn't help optics when he tweeted this ridiculous string of sentences. "Imagine owning the rights to exploit Papa Smurf, Brainy, or Smurfette individually while still remaining part of the Smurf collective. It's the first decentralized ownership of IP with passionate fans telling an artist's creation story together." Yeah, what he tweeted there sounds about as ridiculous as this meme right here, which is a joke, but sometimes life imitates art. Now, days following the kidnapping of the NFT, it became abundantly clear that the new owner of the NFT, who bought it without knowing it was stolen, wasn't intending to just give it back out of the kindness of their heart. They did spend $200,000 on a receipt, a digital receipt, for this thing. So BuzzFeed News reported that the owner of Seth Green's stolen Bored Ape said that they have no plans to return it, though the owner was open to getting in touch with Seth Green to potentially negotiate, and indeed eventually Dr. Wordy, or Durwordy, which is another handle name for Darkwing84, directly reached out to Seth Green and asked him to DM me, and then the following day Seth Green confirmed that the two connected. "Thank you for the help." And that was as far as we got back then. Now, my prediction was that Seth Green will eventually get his NFT back. He'll likely offer a decent amount of money for the NFT's return, though it doesn't change the fact that this whole situation continues to highlight the folly of engaging with the NFT landscape. It continues to highlight how crime-ridden it is, how theft-ridden it is, how scam-ridden it is, and its promotion remains unethical as far as I'm concerned, because it's just luring people into a financially dangerous sort of minefield is really the best way I can put it. But indeed, the Bored Ape did eventually return home, as Seth Green put it. Seth Green's stolen Bored Ape is back home. So this article was published on June 9th, 2022. I'm a little late with this story, but it's still worth discussing given the current landscape of crypto and NFTs. Blockchain transaction records show that Bored Ape 8398 is being transferred from Cheese's NFT wallet to a wallet associated with Green on Tuesday, Cheese being Darkwing 84's account. When asked about it in a Twitter space for Green's NFT company on Thursday, Green confirmed to BuzzFeed News that the ape is home. The exchange appears to have occurred by way of a crypto escrow platform called NFT Trader, where records reveal the ape departing Cheese's wallet and eventually landing in the Fred Simi account that presently contains it. An unnamed wallet, likely belonging to Green, transferred 165 Ether, or approximately $297,000, to an address operated by NFT Trader to exchange the ape. So there you have it. That's the price point. That was the cost of the ransom, if you will, for the kidnapped receipt to an image of an ape. $300,000, which is $100,000 more than what Darkwing 84 paid for the stolen NFT, paid roughly $200,000. It would seem as though the premium price to return the ape back to Seth Green was $100,000 on top of the initial cost that he purchased the NFT under. Honestly, it could have been worse. The guy could have really made a dent on this NFT show by deciding to just keep it and turning this into a whole legal battle. He could have asked for even more money. You know, considering things, this NFT trader was relatively generous, and I imagine Seth Green has plenty of money to throw away at NFTs given how much he participates in NFTs, and $300,000 in the grand scheme of things probably wasn't the biggest dent that could have been made. He's probably just glad he can make his freaking show, which is more of an NFT ad. Like, why do you need NFTs to create something artistic? The Ether appeared in a wallet belonging to Darkwing 84. The transaction suggests Green may have repurchased the ape for nearly $100,000 more than Cheese initially paid for, despite threatening to sue Cheese if they refuse to return it to him. A real bummer for anyone who had their fingers crossed for a Green v. Cheese lawsuit. Not gonna lie, part of me would be very curious to see how such a case would turn out. Based on the information we have and based on what legal experts have been saying, it doesn't seem like things would have been favorable for Green. Now, the bad news is that Seth Green's NFT show is happening. I saw the trailer for it. I am not particularly enthused or compelled by what I saw, nor do I think NFTs should be a part of a movie just for the sake of having NFTs in there, because NFTs don't add anything to the storytelling aspect. It just tries to promote a landscape that is essentially a giant pyramid scheme, a giant Ponzi scheme. It's less of a movie. It feels more like an ad by telling a story through the product that they're promoting. And it is this blatant product plug as far as I'm concerned. But the good news is that all of this continues to make NFTs look bad. It only serves to make people point and laugh all that harder. And by the way, this is all amidst another incident when it comes to Bored Ape Yacht Club and NFTs getting stolen. Here's Watcher Guru, who tweeted, breaking, this is from June 4th, 2022, Bored Ape Yacht Club and other side metaverse Discord servers have been hacked. Millions worth of NFTs reportedly stolen. Additional details are provided by Twitter user NFT Herder. BAYC, or Bored Ape Yacht Club, and other side Discords got compromised, seems because community manager Boris Wagner got his account breached, which let the scammers execute their phishing attack. Over 145 Ether was stolen. Beyond the fact that NFTs are rife with scams and theft and all of these things, there's a clear lack of security, combined with the lack of regulation that makes it very difficult to seek restitution when you get screwed over. This is why people label this a wild, wild west landscape. And it's hilarious when NFT traders who should have known what they've gotten into, who, you know, sort of glorify the fact that it's a wild, wild west, when they do get screwed over by the very thing that they've been glorifying, when they get burned by the lack of regulation or just the lack of any sort of protection or security. Following this breach, the New York Times wrote this whole story about the NFT marketplace and how it's rife with thefts, fraud, and lawsuits, which, yeah, people who've been following NFTs and have basic common sense have already known about all of this. This is nothing new, but it's still good to reiterate. And this article specifically talks about this individual, Chris Chapman, who listed his Bored Ape for sale on OpenSea, the largest NFT marketplace, setting the price at about $1 million. But that would come as a major regret, as 2 months later, OpenSea sent him a notification stating that the ape had been sold for roughly $300,000 without his consent or permission. A crypto scammer exploited a flaw in OpenSea's system to buy the ape for significantly less than it's worth. OpenSea offered him about a $30,000 recompense, which he turned down in hopes of negotiating a larger payout. The fact that OpenSea only offered a fraction of the huge amount of money that was lost, when it was their mistake that this was let happen, when their security is so lackluster that thefts and heists are allowed to happen so frequently, just goes to show just how much OpenSea doesn't really know what it's doing. They just don't know how to deal with the security breaches that are constantly happening. Mr. Chapman himself learned his lesson, it would seem, by saying that the company's made a lot of stupid, dumb mistakes and that they don't really know what they're doing. You don't say. NFT companies just sort of jumped on the bandwagon without any sort of substantial foresight, and now they're paying for it. OpenSea has gotten too big for its own good. It's grown, yet it has struggled to prevent theft and fraud. The glitch that cost Mr. Chapman his ape has led to months of recriminations, forcing the startup to make more than $6 million in payouts to NFT traders. Ouch. OpenSea is slow to block the sale of NFTs that were seized by hackers, so preventative measures are just very poor, currently on top of just piss poor security, and the company's facing at least 4 lawsuits from traders. NFT sales have dropped about 90% since September, which doesn't help matters. There's just generally a substantial lack of interest surrounding NFTs after the big spike that happened sort of in the past 2 years. There's also been a huge drop-off of interest because people are generally recognizing that NFTs are nothing short of a scam perpetuated by rich people who are just bored and don't know what else to do with their money. Other industries have also tried to capitalize, like the restaurant industry, with one restaurant 3 months after opening no longer accepting crypto as payment after opening the crypto-themed restaurant, and that is following the just decline in NFT interest and the crypto crash in particular that has prompted the crypto-themed restaurant to be like, oh, maybe we made a mistake by putting all of our eggs in the crypto/NFT basket. And amidst all of this, Square Enix continues to triple down on NFTs. They already said in their 2022 New Year letter that NFTs and metaverse are the future, and now they're talking about wanting to develop story-focused NFTs, but it doesn't plan to make Final Fantasy NFT games soon, being the keyword. That doesn't mean never. I don't even know what story-focused NFTs means. You don't need NFTs to tell a story. You don't need to turn stories into investments. You don't need to turn art into investment opportunities. Video games especially, which should just be fun games with a basic, simple, transparent transaction. And in case this doesn't concern you, check out some of these articles' quotes. There are plans to continue to integrate blockchain technology into game development. And here's a quote from Yosuke Masuda. It's still too early to consider making Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy blockchain games. Basically, let's wait until NFTs and blockchain become more normalized. Let's wait until the backlash starts dying down as people perceive NFTs and blockchain as inevitable. What this quote tells me right here is that the NFT-fication and the blockchain-fication of beloved Square Enix franchises isn't a matter of if. It's plain and simply just a matter of when. If this is an indication of what the future holds for Square Enix, then yeah, the future is not looking great for this company or the potential and quality of future projects. And fearing such a future is the reason why I continue to call out NFTs and why I despise when people like Seth Green, who, you know, are celebrities and in a position of being influential, go out there and help promote this crap for their own benefit. You can make a show if the purpose is artistic and you just want to make a show, you can do it without NFTs, without promoting a financially harmful landscape. If you are foregoing any sort of moral compass on that front, you're not making the show for the art. You're making it to promote something that can just further your wealth, because that's what NFT is all about. It's about get-rich-quick scheme that only works for the very select few who happen to out-cheat all the others. May Seth Green's misadventures with NFTs further discourage the normalization of NFTs, especially in the medium that I love most, gaming, where that stuff just doesn't belong, especially when this is a medium that's already being monetized with every kind of scheme under the sun. NFTs have been a disaster outside of gaming. We've already seen disastrous elements happen within gaming, and if it's normalized, it will be a disaster for gaming. Companies will exploit NFTs to hell and back and further deprioritize what video games should ultimately be about: fun and immersion. But that's one man's take. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.